Right, so I thought today we would play a game. Okay, that is why you all have these little pouches in front of you. I'm going to explain to you what we're going to do in a minute. So just hang on, don't open them just yet. Because before we do that, I just want to explain that when I stand up and do my 60 seconds, it's impossible for me to run through all of my 11 fragrances, even one by one. You can't smell them. And I could tell you until the day is over what's in a fragrance. And until you smell it, you're just not going to get it at all. So I've gone for a slightly winter Christmas theme for this game because we do all have an association for that time of year, regardless of our religion, regardless of anything. We all know how to cozy up when it's horrible outside. We all enjoy that time of year with our families. So I'm really hoping that I can evoke some nice moods and memories from you by smelling these 3 fragrances that you're going to smell today. Before we do that, I just want to really quickly explain how our sense of smell works, because we all have a completely unique sense of smell. So I'm really used to people smelling my stuff and going, oh, and I don't take offence to that because everybody has a different reason. But we all have an olfactory bulb, I hope, at the back of our nose with millions and millions of sensory receptor cells there. And when you smell a fragrance or any smell, there's an information superhighway that only exists for your sense of smell, not for your other senses. And it's a direct line to your limbic system in your brain. So the first thing when you walked in here this morning is the smell. It's not the sight, it's not the noise, it's the smell. And when you walk into a room, for example, if you smell something that you recognise, your brain immediately goes, oh, it's breakfast time, I can smell the coffee. You know, there are bad smells as well. We identify those in the same way, like the dog's farted or something. But also, if you don't recognise that smell, your brain will form a new association with it. So I can give you the example of my studio, where people come to my studio, they'll never smell that anywhere else because it's completely unique to all the stuff that we're doing all the time. But when they come back, they'll say, I love coming here, and they recognise it again completely with me and with my brand. So we're going to do that today with these 3 fragrances, but please don't be competitive and think, oh yeah, that's definitely the Christmas tree, bang. Because what I'd like you to do is just take a few seconds, maybe close your eyes, take everyone else out of the room, because some people will like things more than others, and just see if you can feel something. Just where are you when you smell this? You know, what are you feeling? Does it feel good? Do you not like it? Not everyone likes Christmas. Yeah. So in here, we've got 3 little wax melts labelled A, B and C. And I know you've all got a piece of paper or a phone in front of you. So if you'd like to do 1, 2 and 3 on your notepad, and I'm going to read out the description on my packaging for each of the 3 fragrances. And you're going to tell me if that is A, B or C. Simple as that, okay? Anyone, any questions before we... Right, okay. So, I've also put with this a little card. That is my signature card, but that's just to give you an idea. That is a visual of what I'm trying to create for people. So that's the ambience that we're trying to create with these fragrances, or some of them. I've got 11 in all. Right, okay. So, number 1 is Nordic Spa. I just need to check my notes. I did it all quite rude, so don't eat them. Oh, and also, if anyone doesn't want to do this, that it's sensitive to fragrance, I won't be offended, so it's fine. Right, no cheating. Okay, number 1, Nordic Spa. So have a sniff and see what you think. Nordic Spa is a rich blend of full-bodied bitter orange and winter spices, a soulful indulgence and embracing warmth with festive hints of Scandinavian Yule. So that is Nordic Spa. So which one do you think that is? A, B or C? Number 2 is Christmas Tree. Okay, so Christmas Tree captures the essence of this magical season with invigorating notes of pine forest and fresh eucalyptus blended with cedar, gia, and sandalwoods. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is frankincense and myrrh, which combines exotic floral notes with soothing warm woods and hints of sensuous musk. Frankincense and myrrh. Oh, rubbish it is.
It's not nice.
Okay, have I chosen?
Just give us a quick run through the 3 against the
Nordic Spa. Okay, I'll give you a bit more in depth. So Nordic Spa is made from Seville oranges, which are a bitter winter orange. Then we have some winter spices in there. In particular, there is a splash of clove in there. So look for that. Christmas tree is made with the best pine oil. I only use the luxury carrot oils, waxes and fragrances, and it's Siberian pine oil. And it is absolutely the fragrance that I'm describing. And the last one is resinous. It smells a bit like licorice. It's got a bitter, sweet, floral note to it. One of those oils comes from the Boswellian tree. Boswellian tree.
That was in the Dickens, do you reckon?
Okay, right, I'm going to do the big reveal. Please remember the one that you like the most, because if don't put my cards in the referral cards, because if you are the winner of the speaker's prize today, you can take home the fragrance that you like the most. Okay, so here we go. So Nordic Spa was B.
B.
Yes.
Oh,
Really hope you get
It was the orange that gave it.
That's the orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christmas tree was A.
Yes.
That's really easy. And frankincense and myrrh was C.
What was on Christmas tree? I didn't get Christmas tree. It was the eucalyptus.
It's quite
It's waxy oversoil.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, anyone get them right?
Yeah.
Any experts? Oh, look, collective. Well done. Well done. Well, that tells me that my descriptions are quite good. My fragrances work, and yeah, my packaging sort of does the trick as well. So, I thought after this, I'd just go to questions, to be honest, because I can bang on about my history, and the girls are coming to masterclass in a couple of weeks' time, so I don't want to do that with it really, because it's a spoiler for you for the masterclass. So, does anybody have any questions?
Do you do bespoke, as in, can I come to you and say, oh, I really like 20 candles smelling of, I don't know, old rubber boots. I'm not saying old rubber boots or something, but within reason, can you go and bespokely create and source?
So we are governed by an organisation called the International Fragrance Association. So when people think that they'd like to put a couple of drops of this and a couple of drops of that, and well, that smells really nice and that smells like rubber boots, I'm going with it. We have a lot of work and expense behind that to then push it through all of the compliance. So what we do is we say, right, rubber boots, brilliant. I've got a catalogue, essentially. I use one supplier. There's only one supplier that I use because of the quality of the oils in Scotland. And I'll go to them, to their catalogue, and I will find the closest fragrance that I think I can get, which has already been through IFRA certification, that smells like rubber boots, and I'll offer you that as the choice. And we also have to do burn testing and certification under British standards. So it's not a legal requirement, but it is a British standard. So we are ELAN is fully compliant with that. So when I take the rubber boot fragrance, I'll then run my burn tests for you. So even though they're certified by my supplier, I will still run them, because you're going to say, I want them in a grey vessel with a silver lid, and I want that size vessel or that size vessel. So that I have to run all of the lab tests on that to make sure that that combination is compliant with the
Okay, so it's not easy then.
it's not easy. Everyone thinks it's easy. Everyone thinks that making candles is me in my kitchen going, oh, right, I think I'll make some strawberry ones today for Jane, and just following that. It's a it's a really complex thing. So it's quite frustrating for me in the industry, because there are thousands of ladies that are doing that. I see it all the time. There's so much that comes from China that isn't labelled, it's not compliant, and we are. And that is what is special about ELAN, and that's the authenticity and the provenance that I can give your clients. So I think that's why, we've been successful with some really high-end brands and things like that, because I'm not just someone trying to make candles. And I do all the pouring. So I have a support team, beginning and the end, but the actual making of everything, diffusers, room mist, at the moment, I still do all of that myself. So, yeah.
You say you've got a supplier. What actually do you get supplied?
Good question. So we have to buy in the wax or the carrier oils for diffusers. For room mists, I only use perfumer's alcohol, which is exactly the same as you put on your aftershave or your perfume, so it's the best. We have to buy in the fragrance oils, then we buy in the wicks, and obviously the vessels and any lids, and plus packaging.
Right, so
Everything, I source everything in the UK. Everything comes, I use quite a woman-led collaborative. So the company that I use in Yorkshire that make my packaging is run by a woman, and they make everything for me, so I've got complete control on that. And I have a mentor as well who has guided me in the last 10 years through this whole thing. Once I've come up with the concept with my dad, because he's a cosmetic chemist, and so growing up, I just grew up in a world of fragrance. So I've never said that in my 60 seconds, but he sent all of the kids off to go and work in London. So I did a 16-year career as an insurance broker. I could change my profession, but I am ACI qualified, and I've worked in commercial insurance for 16 years. Then I took a career break to have kids, and then my dad retired, and so we indulged ourselves in our true love, and that's how ELAN has been.
If this time I've got two questions, please. The first is, here you talk about the subscription gift. I'm fond of subscription gifts. And for each month, you get this candle sent. Can I have it sent to different addresses each month, or always to the one address?
No, you can. It's again, because we're such a bespoke company and business. You can have what you like. So I have customers that only have candles, only have diffusers. They gift it by sending. As long as you tell us what you want us to do, it's completely possible for us to do that.
Can I have my second one? So I know you're up against high street shops selling cheap and shareable candles, and the price will be quite low, the packaging will be jazzy, and yours is the other end. Can you explain why there's a difference, a disparity in the prices?
I can. There's a lot of reasons why that is. That's a good question. So if I want to make a cheap candle, I'm going to make it with paraffin wax, because it burns at a really high temperature, i.e. the gas is turned up, so it's boiling. Okay, that's going to make you think you bought a great candle, because there's a tiny amount of fragrance oil in it, and it's going to throw really fast. It's going to go everywhere because it's pushing out at a high temperature. It's evaporating at a high temperature, but it's going to last for not very long, because you're going to burn up your wax, you're going to burn up your fuel really quickly, and it's probably going to soot quite a lot. So we don't want soot in our atmosphere indoors, because it's carcinogenic. It's really important. The one thing people don't ever ask me about is sooty. Funnily enough, they'll ask me about the strength of the fragrance and blood burn time. They never ask, do your candles soot very much? And David Beckham on his documentary, made a point of saying that in the evening he goes around and wipes the soot from his candles, and I was like, oh my god, please don't say that. So there are tricks such as filling the candle to here with just plain wax, and then they top it like a Guinness head on a pint of beer, pint of Guinness with fragranced wax. So you get accustomed, your olfactory bulb becomes accustomed to the smell, and then after a few burns, you have this expectation when you light a candle, it's going to smell like the thing that it did originally. So your brain thinks that's how it's smelling, but it's getting weaker, and there is a residual amount of fuel that drops down into the bulb wax. So all of the money is either in the vessels, the packaging, staff that people are employing to sell them, okay, or the fragrance oils. But the quality of the fragrance oils is really key. We use a mix of synthetic oils and we use a mix of essential oils. There are arguments for both. With synthetic oils, because they're man-made, people think they're dangerous, but they're not, because they're an identical copy to that which nature has made. But they are consistent. We know that if we bought a synthetic leather oil, you can't distill leather oil. Okay, so if you've got leather in our fragrance, it's consistent because it's made to a formula. When we buy in, we've had a really bad problem with patchouli oil in the last 18 months because we buy that in as an organic oil, and that has had problems with climate change, and the farmers harvesting it. So the farmers have clocked on to the fact that if they harvest early, they can get a better price for it because there's a shortage of it. So they've been harvesting the patchouli oil early, and it's not bred anymore. And so it's performance of the patchouli in products has been underwhelming. So there are many reasons why things are cheap, but generally I have to say, to a point, you get what you pay for. Shannon.
You know the little thing that puts out the candle, it's like that little metal thing.
Snuffer.
The snuffer. Is the only purpose of that to put the candle out, or does it make it so the smoky smell doesn't come out?
Okay, so one of our regulations when we do this big long spreadsheet testing is that when you extinguish a candle, it doesn't smoke for more than 30 seconds. Okay, when you use a snuffer, it's a good way to not. When you blow a candle out, sometimes you blow hard, you can blow wax everywhere, and you can also blow the carbonised wax wick tip. You blow it, and then it all goes into your milk or black bits. So to use a snuffer is a good way of doing that. Or you can also use a wick dipper. It's like a stick. You just dip the wick into the wax, then lift it out again. But you do have this problem with bits that drop off. So yes, of course, it will contain smoke when you blow a candle out, but it shouldn't smoke for more than 30 seconds. Yeah.
How long is it take to produce a candle? And how many do you need to produce it?
So my capacity in my studio is 100 products a day. So we can do 100 products a day. So we've got 2 workbenches, 3 meters long, 5 meters long, and we have a prepping, making side, and then we have a clean side where we're packaging and finishing and everything else. So we can do 100 a day. That's with 2 of us working, or 1 if it's just me working, which isn't that often, but it could be 2 days. It's all in the research. It's the development of fragrances that are key. It's not about really so much about making a candle. We have a set procedure for that. Temperature is so important when we're making candles. We have to work at ambient room temperature. It causes problems with the wax and so on and so forth. So when we talk about hand pour a candle, there's so much that goes into that. When you look at factories that are machine making candles, they're going to they're a lot cheaper. They trim the wicks just off with machine cutters, so your wicks are always really way too long when you first light a candle, and no one knows to trim up a wick before they first light a candle. The time is in product development. Actually making them, as long as we stick to our, not making scones or making cakes, so just stick to the formula and you're strict with that, then we can make 100 products a day.
Could you produce perfumes and fragrances purely doing the diffusers?
Yeah, I could. Different set of regulations. So joy of my life, as it is for all of us, as soon as we put something on skin, It's a completely different set of cosmetic regulations, registration. You have to have these UFI codes, which we have to register around Europe. You have to register everything in the poisons database in case you drink it or you have a terrible reaction to it. So the reason why I've not explored hand soap, hand lotion, shower gels in all of the range is because honestly can't cope with another set of regulations. I'd rather be the master at cams, diffusing and room mists than trying to offer all of these extra products. It would just be too much to be caught up in red tape all the time.
Is there a shelf life for them?
For a candle,
Yes.
no, there is not, because candles, the wax envelops the fragrance oil. So when we make a candle, there's no new chemical reaction going on. It's a bit like wax goes into the duvet, like bubble wrap around the fragrance. And as you burn it, you're releasing the fragrance from the wax. And the wax is obviously used as fuel to create the heat, which then heats the milk pool, and the fragrance evaporates from the milk pool. It doesn't come from the flame, it comes from that molten milk all around. They polymorphisize candles, so once you pour them, you have, depending on the wax, you have to cure them for at least 2 days. You have to cure them for longer to get the real benefit of the overflow and fragrance. But in terms of shelf life, to be honest, the older a candle is, probably the better it will be. But they continually change, so in heat. So if you've got them in a shop and it's during the summer and then the winter, the wax is changing. Its crystal formation is changing all the time. So no, but there is on diffusers and more mists.
It's all like to time to like to keep them alight. I can last the longest.
So there it is. Yeah. So when you first burn any candle, you should burn it for a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 4 hours. Okay, so 4 hours is your number, and you should always have a 5mm wick, always. So if you go into TK Maxx, they have all these wonderful candles and all this amazing packaging. They're all TK Maxx, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but that is an illusion. TK Maxx just own thousands of brands. So it's actually not all these brands that you think it is, it's TK Maxx. They're all machine made and they don't fill them very much. So have a look if you're in there next. You'll see you've got a candle this size, probably filled to about there. Do machine trimmed, you mix that on. You won't trim it because you don't know how to do that. And then you'll light it and you'll have this gigantic flame to start with. What's your question? Yeah, so what you do is you trim your wick to 5mm and you burn it for a minimum of 3 to 4 hours to get your milk pool memory. It needs that memory. And then after that, you can burn them all day, but you should just put them out, trim the wick, and relight them. So I know you're not going to set a timer on Alexa, but that is ideally what you should do. That's how you test them.
How often must you trim your wick?
Every 4 hours. Yeah, every 4 hours. Trim the wick every 4 hours, and that just gives you the longest burn time, the best performance, no sooting. But when you do buy a candle for the first time, make sure that you know to trim that wick down, because that's where the soot's going to come from. Okay.
Sally, thank you very much indeed.
Welcome.